Okay guys, here's first of many videos during the school year. Hopefully you take advantage of them. But this will help you review for tomorrow's quiz, which is very fair and very straightforward. It is our first quiz after all. So don't read too much into that. Here we go. So, how do we convert radians, notice the pi right there, into degrees? Well, it's really simple. We know that pi is 180 degrees. And you could type this into your calculator, or if you're old school like me, I know that 180 divided by 9 is 20. So I know this one's got to be negative 80 degrees. What happens if I give you degrees? Well, we know that pi is the same thing as 180 degrees. And as you can see, they cancel out. So my answer this time is going to be negative 195 pi over 180. Now with the calculator, it will reduce it for you automatically, but I'm going to do it old school here. If I divide by 5, so I'm going to do divide by 5 here, top and bottom. Let's see here, what do I get? I get negative 39. And dividing this by 5, I get 36. And then I can divide by another 3. So I know my final answer is negative 13 pi over 12, unless I made some silly brain fart mistake. But the idea is pi is 180 degrees. You memorize it. You use that fact to convert between radians and degrees. Now, here perhaps is a key problem of this video. So here we go. We know that, let me do the coordinate system over here. We know that cosine is a negative value. Remember, cosine is our x coordinate, right? Where is x negative? It's either here or here. What else do we know? We know that sine is positive. Well, sine is our y-coordinate, and so therefore, long story short, you put those two facts together, we know our triangle must be here. In quadrant 2, we know cosine is negative and sine is positive. Okay, so now that we know that, what do we know about cosine? Here's our theta. Cosine, of course, is adjacent over hypotenuse. So that means adjacent must be negative square root 15, and the hypotenuse must be 4. So now we have to do a little Pythagorean theorem here. I'm going to call this side here y, since it is the y coordinate. So I know that y squared plus 4 squared equals negative square root of 15 squared. Y squared plus 16 equals 15. Wait a minute, did I make a mistake there somehow? Oh my God. See how I did it wrong, guys. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Good thing I caught that mistake. So, does everyone agree? Let's slow down here a little bit. This will be my A, this will be my B. The hypotenuse must always be the C. How embarrassing on my part. Okay, so we're going to do y squared plus negative square root of 15 squared equal to 4 squared. So we're going to get 15 equal to 16. So that means y squared must be 1, and y must be, therefore, itself 1. So let's fill that in. We know that y is 1. Now we're ready to do our ratios. So I'm just going to go in order here, guys. I know that sine of theta has got to be the opposite over hypotenuse, which is 1/4. We already know that cosine is negative square root of 15 over 4. The tangent of theta is going to be the opposite over the adjacent. That's going to be 1 over negative square root 15. Again, I'm going to rationalize all at the end. Now let's do our reciprocals. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so it's simply going to be 4. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. That's going to be negative 4 over square root 15. And finally, cotangent theta is going to be the reciprocal of tangent. That is just simply negative square root 15. And so what do we have to rationalize? We have to rationalize the tangent. So when I do square root 15 over square root 15, I get square root 15 over 15. Don't forget the negative. There is a negative right there. Okay. And we have to rationalize secant, square root 15 over square root 15. So we get negative 4 square root 15 over a 15. Pause the video, guys. Hopefully, by the way, as you do and watch my videos, you'll pause between each problem. Perhaps try it yourself before you watch me work through it. As you can see, I'm human. I made a mistake, but thank God I corrected it, right? Okay. Now, here's a final reminder, guys. Don't forget about the special numbers. They're on my info wall, but we got to memorize that the square root of 3 is 1.732. Therefore, when I do square root 3 divided by 3, this happens whenever you do tangents, or sometimes when you do tangents. Memorize that 0.5773 is the square root of 3 over 3. And whenever I have to do square root 3 over 2, I know it's 0.866. Again, memorize these. 1.414 is square root of 2, and divided by 2 is 0.7071. And besides, this is again square root 2 over 2. And so besides that, the other ones like 1/2 is 0.5, and 1 of course is 1, and so on. So that covers all the key numbers in the unit circle. So therefore, you can use a calculator a lot of times to replace the unit circle. Okay, so as an example, I could type in cosine 300. I get 0.5. What's my answer, therefore? 1/2. If I typed in sine of 300, again, I can look it up in my unit circle, but notice I get negative 0.866. So that's going to be a negative square root 3 over 2, right? What about tangent 60? I got 1.732. Gee, what number is that? That's the square root of 3. What about the tangent of 150? I got negative 0.5773. Oh, that's right. So it's going to be negative square root 3 over 3. And then finally, what about the cosine of 135? I got negative 0.707. That would be a negative square root 2 over 2. So again, if you just simply memorize these numbers, guys, we're at least to the point where you can recognize them. This is one of the coolest simple tricks that I can teach you this year with a calculator that will help you in a trig class when you get to college. Okay, so hopefully this video helps you guys. Again, this should be one of many to come. I'll be posting them in Google Classroom. And yeah, I'll see you in class tomorrow for the quiz.